Welcome back to Mini Movie Monday, number 4. Today we're going to be talking about King Pigeon pose. King Pigeon pose is one of the 3 poses that I was hoping to perfect this year, and I'll be working on off and on throughout the month of November. I am not yet capable of doing the full version of King Pigeon pose that you can see directly underneath the video in this post, but I am working on some different poses that will help me prepare for and eventually, fingers crossed, be able to perform full King Pigeon. If you Google King Pigeon, you'll find various different options for how to perform it, including one variation with the front leg in a lunge position and lots of different arm positions. I'm going to focus just on some preparatory poses in order to help us prepare for the version that I have shown in the picture below. First, a few notes about backbending poses like King Pigeon. King Pigeon is a backbending pose that is great for opening the front side of the body, stretching the abdominal muscles, the chest, and the shoulders, while also providing strength to the chest, the shoulders, the abdomen, the thigh, the groin, the ankles, and strength in the back area. Backbending poses are really therapeutic for making the body feel open to the world and strong and confident. Our natural instinct when things are tough is to curl in to protect the body. So being able to open the body facilitates better breathing and greater confidence. Who should not be doing backbending poses, and specifically this King Pigeon pose? Well, anybody with serious back issues or who have been advised not to do them by their doctor. Anybody with knee, ankle, or groin injury should avoid full King Pigeon and maybe even some of the other variations of Pigeon pose. People with shoulder issues may have difficulty doing some of the portions of King Pigeon. And then anybody with really tight hips and sacroiliac issues should be cautious or avoid King Pigeon altogether. In yoga, we use a lot of what we call preparatory poses, or poses that target the areas that eventually we will put together in a new pose. In King Pigeon, there's a long list of preparatory poses that you can use in order to better prepare your body to perform the King Pigeon pose. We'll start in a supine position and work our way up to a standing position, talking about those preparatory poses, and then we'll come back and revisit the 3 variations of pigeon pose that I practice at this time. Starting in a supine position, 2 poses that we can do in order to help prepare our body better for King Pigeon pose are bridge pose, which helps open the front side of the body and create strength in the back side of the body. Additionally, we can interlock the fingers underneath to help work on chest opening and shoulder flexibility. We can also perform another front side of the body opening pose called goddess or supine butterfly by placing our feet together and our arms overhead to work on inner thigh, groin flexibility, hip flexibility, knee flexibility. In a prone position, we can work on a similar back bending pose known as bow pose, B-O-W. You can do a half bow version or a full bow version, noting that when we grab our feet like this, our feet press into the hands so that the tension is not on the knee by the hands pulling on the feet. I can come up to a seated position, practicing hero pose, or if I had a bolster behind me, I could practice a version called reclined hero pose to increase the flexibility in my knee and my hips. In reclined hero pose, you want to enter back slowly from one side, all the way back, supporting the body on the bolster or pillows or blanket stack, keeping your head in a neutral spine position. We can also practice in a seated pose butterfly, or to deepen the work into our hips, our chest, and our shoulders, we can practice many variations of cow face pose, stacking the knees, taking the arm up the back and the other over the top. And to even gain deeper flexibility in the hips, we can practice hinging the spine forward at the hips. We can also practice a version of monkey pose, either doing a half monkey which is a partial split, or working toward a full monkey, full split position with the arms raised. Ideally, you'd want to be able to work all the way down to where you have enough flexibility to allow the body to sit onto the floor. One other prone pose we can do is practicing cobra pose, resting the hands next to the shoulder, working on that front side of the body flexibility and back of the body strength by lifting up and lowering back down. A few standing poses that are beneficial for preparing for king pigeon pose include extended side angle, triangle, and tree pose. Some of these poses are also back bends, just as king pigeon pose is. When we are practicing back bends in yoga, we want to remember a few safety tips. Camel pose is a great pose for preparing for king pigeon, and it can also be beneficial for teaching the safety cues for back bends, in that we want to keep the spine in neutral alignment, hips, shoulders, and ears in alignment here. In camel pose, we also want to include the knees in this positioning. When we back bend up through the thoracic spine or the bra line area, pulling the sternum up to the ceiling and allowing our head to follow our spine and remain in neutral spine position. Placing my hands on the backs of my hips here, I can practice a modified version of camel pose. Feeling the chest opening as I push my elbows toward each other. Or I can go deeper into full camel, pressing my hips forward, my sternum up, and allowing my head to remain neutral. In our previous Mini Movie Monday post, I presented the dead pigeon or figure 4 stretch as a hip opener. And this month I'm practicing pigeon pose as part of my 30 days of yoga. In pigeon pose, I want to take my front leg across so that it's parallel to the short edge of my mat, if I had my mat with me today. I want to then square my hips to the mat and that front leg, slowly extending the back leg out. And if I want to work on more back bending, I can walk the hands up or use a block for support. If I want to work on more hip opening, I can walk the hands out, getting deeper into the stretch. If I want to work on my front of leg flexibility on the back leg in preparation for king pose, I can start working on bringing the foot up toward the back of the head. I can also work on shoulder flexibility by reaching up or back into a version of that half bow. Again, as you can see, I'm not quite ready for full king pigeon yet, but I'm practicing a variety of poses in order to help me prepare my body to perform the full king pigeon pose. I hope that you'll come back for future Mini Movie Mondays and watch my progress as I go. Thank you, and namaste.